Here it comes. Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to Friday night. Jamie had a engagement pop up on him, so he'll be joining us a little later. But we got most of the rest of the guys. Gene has an engagement as well. But the rest of the guys are here, and we got a couple of guests, which are good to see. We got Tactical Foot over there, and we got Andy, Dr. Zink, and then the regular crew. Let's start out and see how we did. Let's start out there with you, Scotsman. How's things going? How was your week? What's going on?
Not too bad. Long week. 10 hours work week, but long week, but not too bad overall. Good to be here. Got a little bit of reloading done this week, so that was good as well. So good to be here. Good to see everyone out there. Good to see Buck with us. Haven't seen Buck in a while, so good to see you, man.
Glad to be here.
Good
I had a long week too. It's been hectic at work. We had one guy quit on us, so now we're down to 4 people in the shop. And hell, I've been trying to do some reloading, but I ain't never got time to go shooting. So that's the way life rolls, I guess.
Yep, that's how it goes sometimes. Hillbilly, how was your week?
Oh man, brother, I'm doing just fine. Doing fine. Yeah, good week here. The weather's been kind of changing a lot. We had one day that's kind of nice but really windy, but we've been getting a lot of wind, and it's really hard to get out and do much video and in that deal. But anyway, other than that, it's been a great week. Grandkids have been on spring break, so been getting to see a lot of them. So anyway, good week. I can't complain. Even if I did, nobody'd listen. So, so Dr. Zink, how's your week, buddy?
Crazy as usual. Just the work. We have gotten so busy. Everybody's like looking at each other how to keep up with getting the product in and out the door. So.
Yeah, it's like they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah, well, you guys don't even know exactly what I do and stuff, so it's like it's just a very hectic week. I mean, I normally get 15 to 20 orders on the floor in a day. I got 5 on Monday, 3 on Tuesday. The orders are that screwed up. So, got to fix everything, contact the customers, pain in the neck.
Yeah. You do what you could do. As good as you can do it.
And Monday night was a rough night. I'm up here playing on the computer, and the wife is screaming downstairs. I don't know what the hell's going on. She's got a bloody nose from hell. It scared the hell out of her. She sneezed and broke a blood vessel, I guess, or whatever. And she had no clue what to do. So it's like I'm just there, getting laying down more flat and packing the nose with cotton balls, but I can feel the blood going down my throat. It's a bad, whatever you blew in your nose, whatever popped is pretty bad.
Yeah.
So it took about 10 minutes for it to finally slow down. 20 minutes in, it was really not bleeding anymore, but I just kept it flat and propped up a little bit, and 40 minutes in, she was fine again. But it scared the hell out of her. She had no clue what to do. Army training is good. But other than that, just a crazy week. Nothing reloading. The people on MeWe side, they're killing me, man. I can't keep up with the amount of zinc I'm getting.
Great.
It's one guy started it all. He took a box. He said, I'll give it a shot. And after we exchanged it, a couple of days later, he says, man, I had that stuff tested at my friend's place. He has one of those machines that tells you what the material is. And he says, he ain't kidding. It was 70% tin. He said, that's great. He was like, and that was it. After he made the comments, everybody's
floodgates opened.
The floodgates opened. These people are sitting on zinc. They don't want to give me any real money for it at the junkyard. And, so what do you do with it? Just throw it out? I just figured I'd sit on it. So I got one box was 43 pounds, one was 48 pounds, one came out to 53 pounds. I don't know how he stuffed it so much.
My goodness.
Awesome.
Okay,
Awesome.
and then I got another box coming now. A guy contacted me yesterday. He said get it out Saturday. So it's like I'm gonna have plenty of zinc now. That's for sure.
Oh,
Good
that's a
deal.
But
good
other
problem
than
to have.
that, but other than that, it was a great week, and and it's Friday night, trying to relax.
Good to hear us. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Walter, how was your week?
I had a good week. We had good weather here all week. It's beautiful today. We got a little bit of rain inbound tonight. It's not going to be much, but I got to the range a couple of times working on a couple of those series that I got going on. And I'd mentioned last week that one of our range safety officers was going to come over this week to start to learn to reload. And she did come over and spent about 3 hours, and she asked questions, just rapid fire. She's half Indian and half machine gun, I think. I don't know. But she, we got as far as going through the basics of the dies and how the presses work. And she got her first batch of 50 cases sized. But she had to leave. It was time. So she's, can I come again next Tuesday? Can I come again next Tuesday? I said, heck yeah, come on. So she's having a ball. So
Good. Sounds like she's interested. That's awesome.
she's going to be a doer, I'll tell you. So that's great. So yeah, good week for me. I got a new press on the bench today. I put video out this afternoon. So that's up on both YouTube and on Rumble. So there'll be more to come with that. I got one of Lee's new turret presses. I couldn't stand it.
The five holer, the new ultimate.
Yeah. Yeah, ultimate turret press. It's got some good stuff, some good features, and some I'm not too sure about features. So
Somebody saw people putting up there. They make it. You can get different sized turrets. More.
Yeah, you can get a 4-hole. It comes with a 5-hole turret. You can get a 4-hole or a 6-hole, and the 6-hole does double duty as a 3-hole, and it comes with different activator rods that index it correctly if you're using only 3 of the 6 holes in that. So I got one of those, which is mostly why I was interested in that press. So we got it all set up and ready to go today, and tomorrow I'm going to load some ammo and do video on that. So we'll have that coming up. It's interesting, a little different.
Awesome. Mark Thomas, how have you been?
Real good. Yep. Just it's been just like everybody else, been a busy week. We've had a string of 5-day weeks at school, and we're looking at spring break next week, so that'll be nice. And we had a little change of pace here that my son's been playing in the pit orchestra for the musical, and that sort of put our usual schedule off, and I ended up having a little bit of time in the evenings, and I actually got to do some reloading this week.
Awesome.
I finally got to reload some of those bullets from that 38-357 hollow point mold that I got. I loaded some 41 Magnum and some 45 Colt. So I was hoping to go to the range tomorrow, but they're telling us we might get 2 inches of rain. I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll have to wait for maybe one of those days on spring break.
Yeah, here too. Same thing. A couple inches of rain calling for. Flood warnings I saw all day popping up on my phone.
Yep, super glad to be here. Great to see everybody. Looking forward to a nice Friday evening chat.
I just can't get out to shoot my Rossi, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's going to hit you too, I guess.
Oh, we were yesterday. It was windy, is 40-mile-an-hour winds over here, and then today it was kind of overcast and sunny on and off, and wind died down. And about an hour or so ago, it just got real cloudy out here, and the temperature is like hovering and going up. And tomorrow we're going from after 6 o'clock in the morning, we're supposed to have rain all day.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying up to 2 inches of rain in my area.
Pat, you're driving, but are you able to talk a little bit? Maybe not.
Yeah, he's busy, I think.
We'll get back to him. I had a busy day myself. We started out with a really, really nice weather. I was surprised. It was a little chilly, but blue skies and full sun. And I said, oh, goodness, I want to go to the range. So I usually wait until noontime or so. And it's going to rain tomorrow. So no rain tomorrow, but range tomorrow. But I had a scare a couple weeks ago. Some of you saw it in the video, but it was during speedy mode, so you couldn't hear anything said. But we had somebody walk out across the firing line on a weekend, and I said, I'll let those guys have the range on the weekends. I don't need it. I can go during the week. So I'm not going to go this weekend on Sunday. So thought I'd try and go today. And I got a phone call from my sister-in-law. She wasn't feeling so well. And she asked me to come over, and she wanted to go to the emergency room. So that's what my day was all day. I got over there about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and we went to the emergency room, and I literally slid in here about 5 minutes of 8. So I had an uneventful, I could check emails. I couldn't go online. It wasn't fast enough service. So I could just fart around and talk to people and talk to her. And so it was a good visit, but it was a boring day at the emergency room. You can imagine. I think we've probably all done it from time to time. And it's what it is. So I see Pat's back. Can you talk, Pat?
Yes, sir. Just still on the clock right now, so so you guys might see some interesting images. So nothing obscene or anything, but yeah, still busy, still hard at it today. So yeah, thanks for having me on. Looking forward to a good chat. Hopefully, once I get done with this last task, hopefully I can call it a day and go down to my bunker and kick up my feet and maybe have a beer. That sounds really good right about now. My day started at 5:30, so and it hasn't stopped yet.
All righty.
So yeah.
Well, we were going to carry over a topic from last week and talk more about bullets. That went pretty good for us. There was a lot of stuff left to talk about. So we'll probably continue on along those lines unless you guys in the side chat have something that you want to talk about or bring up. We got about, what are we, quarter after? We're a little early for running through the chat. I know Gene's not going to make it tonight, so we'll probably have to adjust some of our other stuff. And Jamie thought he would slip in by 9 or so. So we can carry on when he gets here with that. So Buck, I kind of cut you off a little short there. I wanted to make sure we got everybody in. How was what do you got going on? You got any videos coming up? You're still stuck at work. I know you got a lot of work going on, but
Well, no, I want to do a couple of videos on neck turning, but before I make one, I need to make sure I'm doing it right. So I'm gonna have to give one of y'all guys sometime this week, or maybe we can talk a little bit about it later on this evening, towards the end of the show or something. But I ain't got much going on. I'm working on 6.5 Creedmoor. So probably have maybe a couple of videos coming out on that once I can get out to the range.
What powder are you using for 6.5?
Well, I got 2 different powders. I got the Winchester 6.5 ball powder, and I got the 4350.
okay, yeah, that's a
IMR.
classic good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about
Yeah.
bullets this week. So what bullets are you going to be using?
Oh, hold on here. I got some Match Kings. Hold on. Let me grab them real quick. Roger's got a question there or a comment there about flat base and boat tails. That's an interesting one. That's when you really got to try to find out what some barrels don't like them so much. My recent video there with the 7 mag, the bullet I've always liked for the 7 mag, and I've had a couple different ones. This is a newer one to me. I haven't really wrung it out good. The one that was in the last video I did there, and I really like the Hornady 162 grain boat tail soft point. That bullet's been really good for me. It works really good. It expands well. It shoots well. It's a specialty bullet.
not specially constructed or anything. It's normal. My glasses are all bent. But it's a special bullet. I believe it's only available out of one distributor, or directly from Hornady. And I don't think this rifle likes it, because I tried a number of different powders, and the last video was with Spear, which is a flat base 160 grain, and that bugger shot good. That's some of the best groups this rifle has shot. So I'm gonna experiment a little bit. I hope it'll shoot bow tails, but it may not. And the reason I say I hope is because the bullet I really want to use is the Federal Terminal Ascent. It's what I consider to be the best hunting jacketed bullet that is available for us today. I really think that highly of it. It's a strangely different constructed bullet. It's got attributes of solid copper and attributes of a cup and core, with a very streamlined, sleek, high BC shape, and it's got a boat tail. The only downside of it is it's silly expensive, but I was lucky enough to grab a bunch of them on American Reloading when they did a premium package for 7mm, and I've got a good selection, good accumulation of them, but not enough to be throwing them willy-nilly. So I want to try and find a close, good shooting load with about a 160, even though this is Terminal Ascent is a 155, I think, or 150 something. It's a long bullet, so it's going to act more like a 160 or 165. So what'd you find, Buck? What'd you bring us?
Well, I got hang on here. Let me turn my camera back on. I got the Sierra Game Changers,
Okay.
and they're 130 grain. So I'm gonna try them first. Then I got some Hornady LDX, ELDXs or whatever they are, ELM or something. 143 grain. Let me grab them real quick. They're over there.
Them Game Changers are a newer bullet to me. I don't know how long they've been out. I don't think too long.
Well, really, I got those for the Grinnell, because I got some 129s I'm loading up to try out.
Mhm.
Just more or less get it for sighting into my scope I put on it and everything.
Yep.
So
Well, they doing my research on the little 6 arc that I just got. The I think it's a 90 or a 95 grain. One or the other. Came highly recommended. And when I was first looking at the hammer for bullets, the 125 was highly recommended. So they're both game changers. So it's got a lot of people liking it. I don't know what its claim to fame is, other than that pretty green tip. But it's not a bonded bullet. It's nothing special. It's got no cantilure.
yeah,
So
these
it's
ain't
just
too
a cup
bad.
and core.
Yeah, these just don't have no cantilure neither on it.
Yeah, Sierras have always been a really good shooting bullet for me. They've always shot really well.
So,
yeah,
they are. Well, let me get back in the picture here.
Yeah, like most cup and cores, they tend to shed their cores. I don't know if that's going to be the same. I can't imagine it's going to be any different. It's not, like I say, it's not a bonded bullet.
Yeah.
I never had one fail. I never lost game animal because of one, but they
Well,
do.
we're gonna
spit
try
their
it
core.
out.
Yeah, you ought to get that moving good with a 130. That's
Yeah.
it's slight heavy on a Grendel and slight light on a Creedmoor, but it's fine for both. It works fine for both.
Yeah. I'm gonna for the Grundle. I'm gonna try to go 123. I heard that was pretty good for the Grundle.
My favorite bullet for the Grendel has got to be the 120 Gold Dot, and it's recently been remade. They were hard to get for the longest time, but most places have them now. They're reasonable cost. They're a bonded bullet, and they flat work. Just don't Are you shooting in a AR?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're no
Yeah.
worries at all. In a bolt action, if you were loading them up, 60,000 psi, you can get them going faster than they're designed for in the Grendel. Or if you try them in a Creedmoor, you can get them going faster than they're designed for. I talked with people at Spear back early on, and they want them to be under 2550 impact velocity. And that's probably top velocity for you in the AR at 52,000 psi. So no worries for you. But I had them going over 26. So they were concerned about construction. But they make a 140 gold dot, and that's a good one for the Creedmoor too as a hunting bullet. It's a bonded bullet. Really, really good bullet. There's a couple of good videos I've seen online. One guy has done the Grendel with light, medium, and heavy bullets at 400 yards, and he's got 5, maybe 6, 7 different manufactured bullets in each video, and he recovers them, shoots them into water, into plastic jugs, and it's really good videos. If I can figure out who they are, who he is, I don't know off the top of my head, I will forward the information to you, Buck, because I think you'll appreciate it.
Yeah, I really would.
Yeah. But anybody else doing any rifle bullet loading with different bullets? I know that's out of Viejo's wheelhouse, but Mark, you doing anything with 35 Rem or anything?
No, not lately. Hey, Tim S. had a question. What's the advantage of the boat tail? Might be a good one to talk about.
Okay. See if here we go. It's all about BC. It makes the bullet a little bit slipperier, which slides through the air a little better. The exact theory of it is probably something along aerodynamics, something with airflow and airfoils and all that good stuff. But yeah, basically that's what it is. It's something that doesn't really benefit you until you're out past a few hundred yards, and then it can really benefit you.
So you're saying it's the same reason Superman flies with his arm out front is to cut the air.
There you go. Yeah. That's to keep the bugs out of his teeth, I think. There's Red Raider reloading.
You got Fluffy Jeep guy
Fluffy,
out there
yeah.
too.
Yeah, and I tried to click on Paul Loud and Fluffy popped up. 120 grains Barnes match burners. 6.5 Swede. Yep, that's a good one. I had a Swede for quite a few years till I built my 6.506, and I traded that into the gunsmith when I built that rifle. I used to shoot 120 grain Pro Hunters in that Swede a lot. That was a really good bullet.
It was somebody not very long ago had some, I thought it was 6.5 Swede brass they were wanting to give away because they found it. They didn't have their gun anymore. I'm trying to remember now who that was.
That was somebody that was talking about you. You had contacted me about it, I think, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Paul, if you need some 6.5 brass for that, let me know or say something, and
It may still be available. There's a neat bullet. I don't know how many guys have used that, but the Control Chaos, they make a number of that's Lehigh Defense, number of different design bullets. Most of theirs are Well, they do them in brass, a brass alloy, and copper. And you might call them pre-fragmented, but I think they're really just scored deeply or cut. They're turned bullets, some of them. They do that maximum expansion 194, I think was one of their first ones for the blackout. And that had slits cut, 2 slits to make 4 petals, cut right into the bullet. And that bullet would open up. Goodness, it must have been close to 2 inches wide when it opened up. And it reliably opened up at subsonic blackout velocities. That was one of their first designs, along with that. Everybody calls it the screwdriver bullet. It's a fluid technology bullet that uses the fluids to create a big wound channel instead of an expanding projectile. And it works really well. And the Control Chaos is I think that's one that's designed to shed petals. But they've got so many, and there's some really, really good stuff. They got a website too, and they've got a couple of people who are doing stuff. I think what is his name? Nito Mortera. AP 2020 Outdoors does a lot with their bullets. I think he's a sponsored by them. Gets a lot of bullets in, and it's really, really neat stuff. They're owned by Wilson Combat now. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah, Mike says it makes 3 projectiles. What are some of their other names, Mike? I can't think of them off the top of my head. They have a few. They have a few rifle bullets. Boy, the guys are rolling in here. We got over 50 people in the side chat. That's awesome, guys. That is awesome.
Oh, we got a sighting.
Is he here already? Goodness.
Yep.
He's early. There he is. Everybody ready? Want to count down, Walter?
In 3, 2, 1. Hey! That was one of our better efforts. Hiya, Mario.
We're getting better. We couldn't get much worse.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's when I just spoke about there, Gort. It's a fluid technology bullet, and they've got a couple of versions of it. They got a maximum penetration and a maximum expansion. No, maximum. What's the other one? Penetration and
Extreme penetrator. I'm looking at them here. Let's see. Maximum expansion.
it is
And
expansion.
then the
Okay.
extreme penetrator is pistol caliber. Then they got an
it's
extreme cavitator.
Yeah, those are pistol bullets.
Let's see what else we got here. Controlled chaos is there.
Yeah, Wilson Combat, they're pretty much in my backyard.
I wonder if they have any high points on their range.
They will if I go visit. I have to call Bill up and say, "Hey, Bill, I'm gonna bring down my high point, brother."
Al over at the Walk with Al did a video this week on a high point carbine. He liked his too. You know, he allowed us how it was ugly, but also had to say it just worked.
Oh yeah, that's what I say. it keeps getting real windy. I guess I might just go out and shoot my GXP 10mm high point because that thing's so heavy. I mean, wind ain't going to blow that thing out of your hand or alternate the direction of it.
I think Al was
Just
shooting
make-
the 40.
Yeah,
The
just
40,
make
yeah.
sure you got your boots on because you will sink a little bit from the weight.
yeah, I still
What
ain't
was that?
found me a holster for that thing. I used my wife's purse for the first video.
That was funny. That was a good video.
ARX. I was going to ask you the name of the company, but it came to me. ARX is another company that designed and released some ammo and bullets that use that fluid technology. Theirs only had 3 scallops. It was a round-nosed bullet, but the composition of it was epoxy and copper powder. So it wasn't a pre-fragmented bullet because the epoxy, held it together really well. But it had copper in it because it was the powder. And so it had some weight to it, but they still were pretty light for caliber. And I know they made them in 45, 38, 9mm, 45 rifle bullets. But I don't know about any other calibers. There were minimal availability production. But I was able to pick up some 53, 55, 57. They're 50-something grains. They're about the size of a 90 grain, like for 380 or a really light 9mm. And I picked up 500 of them for a really good price a couple of years ago. They were clearanced out of somewhere. Figuring to load them in 380 or something like that. And then the 350 Legend came along. And I've got a load worked up that shoots them at almost 3,000 feet per second.
Wow.
Got a video coming out on that pretty soon. And they shoot really good. And the funny thing is they're going so fast. I like to use shoot and see type targets. So they, get a big splatter of yellow and you can see where your bullets hit. When you hit the paper with those ARX bullets, they're a round nose design. They cut a clean hole like a semi-wad cutter, and they don't even flake the paint. So you shoot through a shoot and see target, and it's just like shooting through a plain piece of paper. It just cuts a hole. It doesn't flake the paint off or anything. And it's got such a crack, different noise. But the brass falls right out of the chamber. There's no flat primers whatsoever. But it's a full case of Enforcer. And if any of you ever used Enforcer powder, it's some of the finest round balls you will ever see in a powder, unless you crack open like a 22 mag or maybe a 5.728 or something like that. It's super, 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 super fine grained ball powder. It's like half the size of 296 H110 or a third less.
Yeah, I haven't used any yet. I want to, though. I want to pick some up. I would love to get some for 44.
I've used it in a number of calibers and I've had zero problems with it. It works good. I'm using it in the 454. I've used it in the 450 Bushmaster. I've used it in the 357. And I've used it in the 350 Legend. And it's been fine. It's a nice powder. And it meters like water. I mean, you've heard that said before. This is the definition of metering like water. It's almost too good for my RCBS, whatever it's called, the mechanical one, the automatic one, because it just runs out of that tube like water. Sorry, Mark, what were you going to say?
Oh, it's all right. I used some of that in the 357 that I loaded the other night because I got that because William Chapin told me to get it for 41 mag. And I haven't used it in the 41 yet, but I cracked that open, and my goodness, it is just fine little tiny balls.
Yep. Yep.
I got my first look at Unique as well this week, and that was kind of interesting.
Yep. Little flakes.
Yep.
Yes, I love that.
Yep.
Well, I wish I could find some more. I ain't seen that around here in a 3 years now.
I haven't seen it in the stores around here either. I found some online not too long ago. I think it was at Powder Valley had some, but it was expensive. It was $40 a pound. I bought a couple pounds anyway because I was getting some other stuff from them. But holy cow, compared to the 15, 16 pre-pandemic prices, it's pricey.
Buck, I thought you was gonna do the how you can catch a unique rabbit joke. Unique
Well, there's a few rabbits out here.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. That the Hornady bullets have always been good for me. Like I said, if I had my druthers, Sierra has always been the top accuracy bullet. Nosler ballistic tips have usually always really good too, but Sierra is what I know for accuracy. When I think of accuracy with a jacketed rifle bullet, I think of Sierra. But Hornady bullets, they almost all have a cantilure. They're also just a cup and core. Nothing fancy special about them other than that. But they expand well. They generally stay together because of that cantilure. But they've always worked good for me, and they've always been pretty decently priced. They're getting more nowadays. Those 170 SSTs I just bought those things were over $50 a box, and that's getting expensive. That's getting expensive for a cup and core non-fancy bullet. Spear is another company with a cup and core standard design, non bonded or anything, but they always tended to be a little bit tougher for me. I don't know if it's their jacket construction, thickness, alloy, or a combination of those two, but they tended always to be just a little bit tougher of a bullet, a little bit stronger constructed, where the Sierras tended always to be softer. Hornadys were good, probably better than the other three, or better than all three as a balanced expanding bullet. But I've used most of them, the common ones anyway.
Now I know this is not a rifle round, but I've seen a really good deal on some Norma 9mm. But anyway, they're monolithic hollow point. And you guys know way more than I do, but what's that mean? From what I was reading on it, they really expand real well on impact.
I'm a little prejudiced against solid copper bullets. They're a good thing. They have some really good merits on them. What basically their claim to fame is they're never going to shed their core because they're solid copper or brass or some kind of alloy like that. So there's basically no lead in them. Now,
this
monolithic
is all copper
by itself doesn't necessarily mean all copper, but it tends to mean that in our circles. But in reality, it just means monometal, one kind of material. So
okay.
Our cast bullets can be the same. They're one metal too.
Okay, so that's what it means. And okay, I wasn't for sure on that. And thanks, buddy.
But,
I appreciate that.
But my prejudice against them is mostly founded because my kind of hunting here is well inside 100 yards, but let's just say inside 150, 200 yards, and largely inside 50. So I don't have a problem with expansion or penetration, or I could have the other way. I could have too high a velocity with some bullets, and I could have some stuff going on. But with a solid copper bullet, generally you don't have any shrapnel. There's nothing that comes off the bullet. It keeps nearly all of its weight, so there's nothing comes off it. Your wound is different, and my problem with them is most all of them need about 22 or 2300 feet per second to get expansion like you're expecting to see. They say they'll expand down to 18 or 2000, but that's initial starting expansion. If you're expecting to see a full-blown mushroom, you're looking at closer to 2400 feet per second impact velocity. And that really cuts down a lot of calibers. Like, beloved Grendel that we just talked about, that's coming out of the muzzle of ARs, not much faster than 2400. So, what do you got for yardage? If you're coming out of 25 or 25 and a quarter, how much yardage do you get before you're at 24 where you're going to see expansion like you expect to see? So that's my thing that's bad. I don't like about the solid coppers. Now, if I was in Alaska or if I was out west where I had some bigger, tougher critters, I probably would change my tune and I would like the solid copper bullets because I'd be slinging them out of some big magnum, and I'd be slinging them at critters that have thick hides and heavy bones and maybe teeth and claws. And that big, heavy copper bullet, long copper bullet, is going to penetrate stem to stern, and it's going to do what it needs to do to humanely harvest that animal. So, if that was what I needed, I would probably change my tune.
Since I get these in, I'm going to test them. I'm curious because I got these in 9mm, your favorite bullet. And
yeah, well, I'm talking rifle.
I'm
so
looking for like
different.
testing for home defense. A carry situation, and so
they'll probably be pretty good. I have used some of the Barnes 40s. I tested some 155s that I got a bunch of them. And those things opened up beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I've got some that I shot they were made for the 454. I shot them in the 450 Bushmaster. And I got beautiful, beautiful expansion. Right to the base, as perfect as you can imagine. So pistol will be different. Pistol is going to be different. They're going to expand at lower velocities because, heck, what pistol do you know that goes 2,400 feet per second? Even 2,000 feet per second. So, not many. So yeah, they're going to be different, and they'll probably be just fine.
I believe
they're purpose built.
I'm looking on the site here, and it says muzzle energy 413 foot, velocity 1312. So,
yeah, they're purpose built for the caliber, for the velocity of that caliber. So I'm certain they're going to be great.
Okay.
I'm certain they're going to be great.
Well, I just thought it might be for the price these were. If they work good, I think it'd be good to test them. But then, for a carry or home defense situation, for me, some of that is 9mm. So, I just, for the prices, it was just really, amazing for that, type of deal. So I just didn't know what the monolithic was. So
yeah,
I appreciate that, buddy.
What's Red Raider say there? Yeah. I imagine it'd be pretty close in a longer barrel. I know when I got my first 357 SIG, I was shocked at some of the velocity I could get without pushing things powder wise at all. That would send a 124 grain bullet, 1,500 feet per second without even trying. So yeah, the SIG is a hot number.
I love that round too. I love shooting it. Never reloaded for it yet.
Yeah, it can be a tricky one. it can be a tricky one. I had to do some finagling to get good loads, to get good rounds. There's a big conspiracy argument there about headspace on that cartridge. They go back and forth between the shoulder and the case mouth, and some say it's one way, some say it's another.
Yeah, I remember watching that video you did on it. I learned a lot off of that. It got me to almost over the line to go get me a set of dies.
My first one came totally by chance. I bought I think it was a cover your ears, Jason. I think it was a 27. And it came with 2 barrels, and one of them was a 357 SIG, but it wasn't labeled with any maker mark at all. It just said 357 SIG on it. And we were going up to Maine, and I stopped in Kittery Trading Post, and I bought a box of 357 SIG. And I couldn't believe, oh, look who's here. There he is. I couldn't believe how that shot and the noise and accurate. It shot so accurate. I couldn't believe it. Way more accurate than the 40 in the same gun. And I was hooked right there. I bought a 6-inch KKM barrel, planning to stick it in what did I have at the time? I think I had a 22, a Glock 22, and I ended up buying a Glock 24, which is the long barrel 40, and I didn't even shoot that factory barrel. I put that 357 SIG barrel in there, and that's what stays in that gun. Yeah, I like that 357 SIG a lot. That's my Coyote pistol.
Yeah, the first time I shot the 357 SIG, I bought a barrel for my gun from a SIG 226, and I looked everywhere for ammo and couldn't find no ammo. So I went to the range and bought the gun anyway. And the guy met me at the range, gave me a box of SIG 357. I mean, a 357 SIG ammo. I tried to pay him, but he wouldn't let me. But that is a sweet round to shoot.
Howdy, Jamie.
Hey, Mark. How's everybody doing this evening?
Hey, Jamie.
We're
how
all
you
doing well. How was your week, Jamie? How things going? I know you're busy tonight and so forth, but you look like you're breathing and kicking. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Above the grass. That's a good thing. I want to thank y'all for covering for me.
No problem at all. We had a good time. We haven't gone through the chat yet, the side chat.
Yeah.
Well, what we're
And
going to get
also,
them to type in. I'm sorry.
I want to let you know, though, if you say SIG 357 3 times, tread shows up. So be careful.
Yeah, that was my problem, Mike. I couldn't get it to chamber, and I thought it was a long bullet, and I went back and forth, and nope, it was just the brass. It would not chamber fully, and I had to bump that shoulder back. Was my problem that no-name barrel? It sure could have been. I'm not sure, but I've since bought a Wilson chamber checker, which is actually a better than a chamber checker. It's a case gauge, and I seat it to that specification from that gauge, and it's been really good. It's
Hey, Pat just got
problem.
prettier.
Yeah.
He sure did.
Boy, oh boy.
There he is. There's Tread.
Oh, you're kidding me. I told you if you said SIG 357 very many times, tread show up.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, Mike. It's you got to load it like it's a rifle cartridge, and you'll have less problems. Yeah, and I was gifted. If you watched my video there, I was gifted a carbide Dillon die in 357 SIG. And very, very, very grateful to have it. It works very well. Otherwise, you have to lube your brass.
I hope
Well,
Pat
that's-
knows he get a lot more views if she's online instead of him
Yeah.
on the channel.
Hey, Tread. And so many guys, when I showed up, told me, hey, I can't call them all out, but I appreciate y'all being here this evening. Scotsman, you've been holding the fort down, brother.
CW has been taking care of it, man. We're all here doing what we can.
He's
Good
in the
deal.
big chair over there, but he's doing he's just my backup.
We all are, CW.
I was able to scoot in here about 3 or 5 minutes before we started, Jamie. She didn't want to have anything special for dinner, so we just grabbed something quick and dropped her off. She didn't want to do nothing, wanted to go in and lay down and relax. So good. Dropped her off. She was good. I made sure she was in the house, and then I left. And like I say, got here about 10 minutes before the show started. Got a couple of glasses of drink here and sat down, and it was about 5 minutes of.
Perfect. The busy boys.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't doing much, but I was doing.
Yeah, you were doing.
We got about 50 or so out there. So let's go with type in 350. Because I know Jamie loves 350 Legends. Type in 350 and Jamie will call you out on TV.
There it is. 350.
And there it goes.
First, and Tactical Fud is a close second. Christian Gress, check your email. Hillbilly up. Steve's Homestead, Ashley A. And hold on a second. My up arrow still
Arrow
don't
ain't working.
All right, so we got Walter, Tactical Fud, Christian Grest, Hillbilly Up, Stephen Susie's Homestead, Ashley A., William C. Chapin, Walks Fletcher, Guns and Water, Tim S., Christian Grest, 270, Edward Petty, Six Shooter Texan, James Pugh, Hillbilly Up, Harm, Bama Dad, Mike Hester, Corners and Doors, Lakeview Outdoors, Tommy Boy, Rollis Carvelis, Tread, Trees of Blowing, how you doing, brother? Mike Hester, Bobby Barlow, Old One Guy, Walks Fletcher, Garage Guy 879, William C. Curtis, Chapin, Dwayne 7834, Pat in a Bunker, CW Longshots out there, Treads out there again. GGW says he's still at work, but apparently he's sneaking off, watching us on the phone or something. Got Tommy Boys out there, Harm, Reloader 762, Rich B, Paul Loud, Chessboard, and I think that's everybody. Tread 350 again. And Tommy Boy, I got a box from you. I got a box from CW. I got a box from Lakeview, Scotsman. I don't really know who.
Christmas. It's like Christmas.
Yeah, man. And another box from Hillbilly Up, and another box from DSCZ52.
Boy.
And I got to do an unboxing hopefully over the weekend. And yeah, I'm telling you. So thank all of y'all for sending stuff, and I appreciate it. And it's been a tough couple of weeks here, but if y'all want to know why I'm late to this evening, I was at my sister's church and I presented my ordination sermon tonight. So I am officially ordained.
Congratulations.
Congrats. I know you've been working towards that for quite a while.
Yeah, it's nerve wracking kind of thing. You know, you just hope you're going to be able to live up to what God expects out of you. So where's Gene tonight?
Gene texted me. He's got something going on with his lady, and I think he's having the night with her. And he's got a early match or a busy match or something with a match tomorrow. So he didn't want to be up too late either. So
Well, thank all y'all for the congratulations. So we don't have a what's hot pot got tonight. Dang.
Well, Hot Pot's got his lady. That's what Hot Pot's got.
Yeah.
That's good enough. I'm sure
Yep.
she deserves
his
it
lady
more
and
than we do. So.
probably a steak and a beer.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got the phone. Everybody wave at Pat. He's going to reboot his computer. So he's having fun. He's having trouble with it.
There's a bunch of messages over there in our private chat. Probably, yeah, it's Pat. Oh, and Walter. Andy.
Yeah,
Andy probably went to bed. He had some. Maybe
he
Mama had
dropped out quickly.
More bleeding nose, probably.
Oh, that's that's probably right. Guns and Water. I didn't see you pop in earlier, but welcome in. Alabama Reloader is here.
Oh, I didn't know that. You double click any of those things on the side and they disappear. Ho! I just learned it.
That's cheating, Bama Dad. And there's Alabama Reloader. Welcome, buddy.
Yeah, Bama Dad, you could have got up there and recited
Hey, look at there.
whatever you wanted and got away with it.
We got to get you on this channel, man. Where are you? I saw you with a couple of lives. You getting brushed up and warmed up to come on with us, I hope? That's my buddy Wes there, Alabama Reloader.
Mm-hmm.
I got to ride over and see him. He just lives too close for me not to have shaken his hand and went over there to shoot with him. I have not, Bama Dad, and I would not. Yeah. I would not do well with an interpreter. I don't do well anyway, period, point blank.
That would be tricky, especially with preaching the gospel and it's hard enough translating what the written word is into more like everyday English, and then have to get that converted into Swahili or whatever Bama Dad was having to do.
Yeah, an interpreter would hear my accent and that would just blow his mind.
Need an interpreter for the interpreter.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you gotta go to the north to a restaurant or a bar and order you a Coors Light. And they say, what? What's that? Never heard of it.
And there's Millsurp Duo.
Hey, Nick.
So, yeah, I need to go see Mike Hester, too. He's about 4 hours away. 4.5 hours.
I think Ricky Baird was asking you earlier about breakfast. You weren't here yet.
Now he's asking you about dinner. He must be a really hungry boy.
Heading down Sunday morning. Whenever you say, Ricky. Yeah, Millsurp Duo, you'll be surprised with a little work how good those old Millsurps shoot. 303 British is going to be an excellent one. I need to drag mine out. I've got that finished Mosin, and I got that the Yugoslavian captured and re-arsenaled German K98.
Well, I got some fodder for that one in that box that you're going to open.
Cool.
And I think I've got some more because I'm just waiting to fill a box more.
Yeah, call me tomorrow sometimes, Ricky. And 4227 is going to do fine, Millsurp Duo, I think. But don't
Yeah.
forget your old standby military powders like 4198 and 4895 and 4046.
Well, he's finding that for $35, under $35 a pound. That's a dang good price right now.
Yep.
For 4227. I was just trying to find some online to use with 41 mag. $60. I said now I'll use what I got.
I can see how they would, Tommy boy. Yeah,
they're
35
close enough in diameter.
$35 a pound for any powder right now is smoking deal.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I like about 4227 is you can use it in rifle and the Magnum pistol cartridges, like 357 and 44 mag, 44 special, not 44 special, but 44 mag, I think.
Yep.
Walks, I said 4064. Don't be putting words in my mouth.
Has anybody ever tried that Winchester powder 244?
Say that again, Bud.
It's a Winchester 244 powder.
No.
I've seen it, but I haven't used it.
Yeah, I got some of that. Works pretty good in my 9mm, 45, 38s, 357.
What's it look like, Buck? Is it a ball powder or?
Hell, I can't remember now. I ain't loaded no pistol rounds up lately. I can get it out here in a minute and take a look real quick. Hold on.
One of the things I like about we got the pastors here, Georgia Boy 44. What was I saying before that?
You're saying you're getting old and forgot?
Yeah.
A lot of that going on
powder,
over here
but I can't
too.
remember which one.
So what topics have y'all talked about tonight? Anything?
Bullets, same as last week.
Talked a lot about bullets. Like I spent a lot of time on the Lehigh defense type of bullets.
Yeah, those are wild. Yeah, Pastor, I was out at my sister's church tonight, so I actually set everything up yesterday so it would be ready for the guys when they came in.
Talking about forgetting stuff when you sent that notice out yesterday for with the chat link. I was sitting down doing something, and ding, the email thing goes off, and I go, "Holy cow! I lost a whole day. It's already Friday.
already.
Oh man!" And I had to go look around at every calendar and stuff I had, trying to figure out what had happened. And then I finally read it and said, "Okay, I get it." I was sure that I had lost a day in there somewhere.
Uh-oh. Bama Dad's having casting issues. Call me tomorrow, buddy. I'll help you if I can.
He sent me a couple of pictures of some 356-402 bullets that he was working with, and they look like a cold mold, cold alloy to me. Just a lot of sags and stuff, and he couldn't seem to get it tweaked around right. But it looked heat related. But yeah, talk to Jamie or give me a call, either one.
I gotta see how I get this thing.
Oh, there we
framed.
go. Winchester, yeah.
Yeah,
244 ball powder. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing it on the shelves locally, and I've never used it.
That's basically all we got around here. I mean, it's everywhere around here.
Same here. It's everywhere around here.
Do you have a problem finding data for it?
No. Mm-mm.
It's in the books.
Yeah. Surprising. Guy said there was a new powder and everything. I said, well, oh Lord, here we go. We ain't going to have no load data for it. But every book I looked in has been in it. So.
Welcome to Leon F. Bean 03. I don't think I've seen you on here. Welcome in, brother. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, they're all the gold dots are a bonded bullet, and yeah, they're plated. They're a plated jacket. Yeah, fusion bullets are very close, but they're not the same.
There we've got lake views out there.
Yeah, Tony popped in a few minutes ago.
So that's good to know, Mill Sir. George Boyd brings up a point that I don't know if y'all are signed up or get emails from NOE, but I get an email every week about they have a mold on sale every week or every month one. I can't remember. Obviously, I can't remember because I just now remembered what I forgot what I was going to say earlier. And it was that one of the things I like about Shooter's World powder is they put load data right there on the label in the front of the bottle, so that when you're shopping for powders, you can see what it's good for or what it can be used in. It may not be good for it, but
right.
So Leon F. Bean, I don't know what that means, brother.
Yeah, James, the original Stayball 6.5 is very close to 4350. I've heard it said that it's basically a Winchester 4350.
Well, when I went to my local gun store and got the Stayball 6.5, they also had Stayball 6.5 match.
Yep, there's a couple of them. There's probably two or three.
Is there a difference in it?
Yeah, it's a different powder. Yeah.
Which one do you think? You think the match would be better?
The only one I've used is the original Stayball.
Oh, okay. You haven't used
So
the match?
I don't know. No, I've never. It hasn't been available for me. I don't generally order powders. I'll buy them local. Yeah, AR Comp's another real good one I like. Yep.
Yeah, I got that too. I picked up some of that.
$70. Oof.
Yeah, just Gene was telling us a couple of weeks ago to get get ready because prices are gone up, and they have gone up. Like $10 a bottle across the board just in the last couple of weeks. Seems to me like.
Hey, Rune, what's happening, buddy? Yeah, I guess this is the wrong chat to troll, Scotsman. My puppy dog missed me. He's just a baby, as y'all can hear.
Mine was disgusted with me. She didn't hardly greet me when I came home. She sat there smiling at me and then stayed in bed. She's not even out here. She's still.
Yeah,
We
my
hear you,
little
Blaze.
puppy.
She didn't like it.
Yeah, my little puppy greeted me when I got home too. She chewed the damn internet wires up. I've been in there for the last 20 minutes, just twisting wires together. Hope I get internet.
I'll fix you. I'll show you how to spend time away from me.
That's hilarious.
I agree, Walks. And I wish you could find some of Brian's old casting videos. You probably could on Rumble. That thing, that contraption he's got set up with the blocks.
It worked really good. I don't have any problems at all.
Yeah, he's got a little hothouse kind of built with some cinder block, and he's got a hot plate stuck in there.
Yep,
works good.
Yeah, works really good.
Yeah, I seen a video on that.
Don't rush things. Start your pot up, put your hot plate on, put your molds in your hot plate, and don't come back for like 45 minutes. Your pot will be all warmed up, your molds will be all warmed up, and you can go.
Yeah, don't be impatient.
Yeah,
take time and wait.
Go have a coffee, go talk with the wife, go walk the dog, come back in 45 minutes. You'll be good.
And if they're a little too hot, your first couple bullets will tell you. And it's just an easy thing to open the mold a little bit and go pour another cup of coffee. Come back in 5 minutes, it'll be fine.
Every hot plate's different, but mine, I run mine at like 1.25. I don't turn it very high. Everyone's different, so it doesn't, they're cheap. It was like $10, $12, so it's not going to be consistent for the one you buy to the one I buy, most likely. But it doesn't need to be that hot. You want it about 350 or so, 350 degrees. So
you're talking about melting lead and stuff.
The actual mold temperature before you cast. You want it about 350, 360, 375, somewhere in there. And you want your lead about 700, 675, 725, somewhere in there.
Yep.
And then you should be good to go.
Yeah,
every mold's a little different about what temperature they want to run at. They'll talk to you and tell you.
The only other problem you're going to have is if you've got something in your mold, some oil or some contaminant, and you can flush that out with
brake cleaner.
Brake cleaner. Yep. And
I finally learned my lesson. I cast on Sunday for about 2 hours, and my hot plate's a little bit cheaper when I think I run that up on 4 or 5. I was always afraid I was going to damage the molds, but not going to damage them. You're just going to get them nice and warm. And I use a separate thermometer that I can dip in my lead, and I use a separate trigger laser thermometer that I can check my molds and get them nice and warm. I actually got some really good frosty bullets on Sunday, so I knew I had them good and hot. But I had one of the best casting sessions I've had in a long time. Just a lot of really nice bullets, like right off the hop. I think I only threw away 2 or 3 from every mold right at the beginning.
Nice.
Yeah, really hot. Really nice. Hot temperature lead, hot temperature mold will cast some nice bullets. You just get frosted.
Yeah.
And if you're powder coating, what do you care?
Right. Temperature and cleanliness are king when it comes to casting bullets.
Before powder coating, it was a big deal to get a proper looking bullet, because it was like you go to school with hand-me-down pants or clothes or something, and they all pointed at and laughed at. Oh, he doesn't know how to point his lead. He doesn't know how to run it. Look at a frosted bullet. You get ribbed and teased because you had a frosted bullet. But those days are pretty much gone with powder coating.
Mm-hmm.
It just flat doesn't matter. It's looks.
If it's way too hot, you'll smear lead across the top of your mold box. You don't want that, but you can get that off too. That's not a huge issue either.
Yeah, if it doesn't frost over in a few seconds, it's a little bit warm, but it'll cool off quick. Just set it there. Mm-hmm. Just set it there on your rolled up towel or whatever you're dropping your bullets on, and just wait a few minutes. It'll cool off.
And make sure they frost over real good, because if you open up too soon, you're gonna have a mess. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah, if you start getting lead smears across the top of your mold blocks, you're cracking your sprue too soon, or your mold's a little too hot, or both.
I think mine was both, and probably a little bit of impatient there too.
Yeah, I would hunt down some wild dogs if they attacked mine. I think I told y'all, but last hunting trip of this past deer season, when we were getting out of the truck, we heard a pack of coyotes attack a yard dog, and it was the awfulest sound you'd ever heard.
Did I send you the video of the coyote in California that grabbed that kid?
You did?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's happened before. Some of our Southern California urban areas in particular, before there were, much human population there, the only thing that territory was good for was coyotes and cactus. And there's still, both of them are still out there, and those coyotes will come into town, particularly in the suburbs, and take pets and try to take little kids. And that was a close call with that.
Oh
kid.
yeah, that dog had her.
Yeah.
Dog had her.
I seen a video one time, like it was a housing, area, and like where the neighbors' side yards met and the backyards, where they met each other. It was probably like at least a 6 foot or 7 foot tall, block wall, and somebody filmed the video of a coyote walking along that back wall and had a house cat in its mouth, so don't think that they can't jump, man. They can get in places that you wouldn't think they can.
Yeah, they're tricky suckers too. They'll work 3 or 4 in a small pack, and 3 of them will be down in the brush. We see this happening frequently when we're out hiking, and someone will be hiking with their dog, and one of them will come out and start yapping and get the dog to chase him and sucker them right down into that brush. And then it's an ambush. Literally, it's
don't say ambush.
Yep.
Ambush from the bush.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're very, very, very smart, very resourceful, and they used to say they're not a pack animal, but they definitely will learn. They've learned to hunt with packs.
Well, another thing too is 3 of them will sound like 7 or 8 too sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, this coming up now here pretty quick. The pups start to get dropped, and when they can start sound off, and the pups start being able to howl and make noise, boy, I've been out, hunting them, and it sounds like there's like 30 of them there, and there's probably 6 or 8 howling at once, but it's the pups, and they're like teenage boys with their voices changing, so they don't sound like the same animal, but they're yipping and squealing and howling and just carrying on something fierce.
Well, I have not personally seen any pups, but they here within this month or last month, depending on your area, they should be dropping pups.
Breeding is generally February into March, so you're going to see 6 weeks later or so, 8 weeks later, whatever it is, and
Yep. Actually, speaking of coyotes, was checking cows this morning. And we had a baby calf, and one was in on the afterbirth. And Mama wasn't none too happy about that. And I just happened to bust him up out of a draw where she had him. She had moved the calf a little ways on down, but she was standing her ground. And boy, he came out of there like a shot. And I threw up the AR, and I mean, he was on a dead run, probably quartering away from me. And I put the scope at his nose, just right above his ears, and he was probably 400-500 yards away, starting to stretch that out a little bit. And I think I smacked him in the butt because his gait changed as soon as I shot the second shot. And he was starting to hobble on the rear end, and then he ran off. But
Had
I
a guts.
guarantee he ain't happy.
Could have gut shot him too, Bill.
Yeah, I could have. I could have, and I hope I did, because
Yep.
I don't mind coyotes, but man, I hate them hanging around my house, and I hate them hanging around my livestock. They
Just
think they can
last
get an
week,
idea.
the farmer
in their
over here
brain.
next to my buddy, where we have our bonfires, which is only less than 5 miles from me. There's a number of big farms there, and he lost a calf last week to 3 coyotes. Took it right out of the barn. Right out of the
Oh,
barn.
it'd be instant war for me.
Well,
Instant
it's
war.
a long story as to why we're not over there anymore, but it's hopefully going to change. It's going to take a few of those more happening, but hopefully it'll change things for my buddy.
The good thing about around here is a lot of them coyotes get lead poisoning.
Well, that's what we're working for.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, Pat, that Tommy Boy's telling you good stuff right here. Get
Oh,
you a couple
definitely.
of donkeys. I didn't believe it until
Oh
I
yeah,
started seeing
absolutely.
videos of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Donkeys will absolutely run them down and stomp a mud hole in their
Yep.
backsides.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The best thing
Yep.
about owning a donkey is when you go pick it up on your way home, you can call everybody and tell everybody you're hauling ass. That's the best part of it.
And you know, when the sun starts coming up on our hunting property, I always hear a couple of donkeys in the background waking up too. You know, and then we heard, you know, there's coyotes out there. We got our property owner says you shoot a coyote on sight. I don't care if there's a buck you got right there in your crosshairs. You take your gun off of that buck and you kill that coyote. I'm like, I'm not sure I can do that, but I'll certainly try. And, I saw a mama with 2 babies early. I mean, it was just light. I mean, I didn't have enough light to shoot at them, but I shot at them anyway just to run them off. But I missed a coyote. It was probably 225 yards in the misty fog that is a Georgia December morning. You gotta love it though. You just gotta love it.
Mm-hmm.
I killed a buck that day too. So there's that.
Nice. Nice. So, but yeah, that was my coyote story for today. So I'm hoping he's gone, and usually between me and my dad, we police that stuff. That way the coyotes don't hang around. But every once in a while, you get one to come in and gets a notion in his head that he's like, "Oh, hey, look, I've got some lunch and everything laying around here." No, you don't. No, you don't.
There's Warsaw Patriot.
Yeah, something that I was always brought up from even a youngin' is crows and coyotes. You know, take every one that you see.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, my dad used to shoot them crows. He had a record that he played on a record player outside. So just bring the crows in to shoot them. That was
Mhm.
pretty much fun there.
So while Warsaw's got some news out there.
Good prayer, Warsaw.
Yes, buddy.
I have not heard about this. Kind of, I kind of live in my own little world, but don't we all? But I don't like the news. I get when I get up every morning, I turn the news on, but only to look see what the weather is, and as I'm getting ready for work, and I kid you not, in the first 5 minutes I turn it on, they report at least 3 shootings in Atlanta every single morning, and it's usually at a convenience store or a gas station or same thing.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the same way it is here. Every morning.
So Warsaw people are people all over the world. Everybody in the world loves their kids, and everybody in the world loves their family, and they just want to go to work and earn a living and take care of their family. Yeah, so it's everywhere. Six shooter Texan says it's there, and Colt 1927 says Fox. He watches Fox, and it's same for Charlotte. Yeah. Walk said that's their job. Report bad stuff. Seems
Dirty
like it.
laundry.
Yeah,
If it bleeds, it leads.
I reckon.
I hate to say that, but it's unfortunately it's the truth when it comes to broadcast media.
You know, back in the day, we had newspapers. We actually listened to the radio. And, I was thinking about that this past weekend, how me and my dad used to, uh, how we used to go out and sit in his car and listen to the Braves games on the AM radio in his car. And later on, he actually invested in a transistor radio to listen to the Braves in there. While we were watching TV and being kids and running around acting like idiots, he was sitting in the corner drinking a Coke and listening to the Braves on the radio. And then when Ted Turner bought TBS and the Braves and put them on TV every single night, yeah, my dad he was there, but he was really missing. He was watching those. He loved the Atlanta Braves.
I had uh, one of my grandparents, he lived out in the country, big garden farm, all that stuff. And on one side of their house where the evening shade, would take place in the afternoon, they had a porch swing and stuff like that over there. And anyway, sit out there and drink iced tea and listen to the radio, like, different stuff. But a lot of times it was talk programs or something like that. And
You ain't wrong, Warsaw. When that will bring us to our verse of the night. Are y'all ready for the verse of the night? Verse of the week?
You
Yes,
betcha.
sir.
Betcha.
And actually, it's 1, 2, 3 verses. Kind of like last week, going through a whole. And I got some. If y'all had trouble with last week's, you're really gonna have trouble with this week's. All right, let me get this down. There's Insight Freedom. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I remember those games that used to go on till like 19 inning games that went on to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I was at one time, and it got to be 3 o'clock in the morning, and they were in like the 18th inning or something like that. And I'm like, well, they ain't gonna do nothing if they'd have won that had already won. And we got in the car, cranked up the car, turned on the radio. Somebody hit a home run. The game was over.
It never fails, does it, buddy?
That's the way it goes. And again, we've been studying through Matthew chapter 5 and the Sermon on the Mount. We're down to verse 43, 44, and 45. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. For he makes his sun shine on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. So let's start back up here. You have heard it said that you should love your neighbor and hate your enemies. The Bible verse that the religious establishment in Israel was quoting did not say, hate your enemies. Those people added, hate your enemies. They justified it by thinking that anyone that was not of the circumcision, that they weren't Jewish, then they were to be hated anyway because they weren't Jewish. And that's not what God wants. The verse that Jesus is talking about here, but I say to you, love your enemies. What it actually says is in Leviticus 19:4, I think it is. It says, don't take vengeance. Love your enemy as yourself. And they are the one that added hate your enemy. But Jesus takes us to a higher standard as he always does. And what we're looking at in these verses is Jesus is actually interpreting the law the way God intended it for it to be translated, not the way the religious establishment had added on and added on and added on. And Jesus himself said that you make it impossible to enter the kingdom of God. But love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you. And this it reminds me of the parable of the Good Samaritan who had mercy on the Jew after a Levite and a priest had crossed the other side of the road and acted like they didn't see him and went on about their way. But the Samaritan, who knew that Jewish guy probably hated him, took him and poured wine and gave him medicine and food and shelter and put him up in the inn and promised to pay if they he gave the innkeeper 2 denarii. That's that's about half of his paycheck. They made $1 a day or a denarii a day, and he gave him 2 denarii and promised to pay more if he spent more. But yeah, it's not that Jesus wants us to be used or made a fool of or whatever. It's he expects us to trust God, and this verse right here, verse 45, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. Well, if you trust God for your salvation, you're going to trust God to repay those people who do you wrong. You don't have to get vengeance on them yourself, because I'm telling you, God's going to do a whole lot better job of it than Jamie can. And yeah, and you may not even see it, but you can know and trust God that that's what's going to happen. And this last verse here, for he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good. God isn't differentiating right now.
Mhm.
We've not made it to the point of judgment, but there's coming a time when God will separate the good from the evil. He'll take care of that. Right now, he's giving everybody, the way I heard one commentator put it, he can solve your enemies in the best possible way, and that is by turning your enemy into your friend. Think about that. And that's our verse of the week. Anybody else got anything to add?
Well, I can say one thing that I'm kind of like the old saying goes: if you try to go for eye for an eye, everybody winds up blind, kind of deal. And I had to learn that lesson the hard way back when I was younger. Not in the literal sense, eye for eye for an eye, like the way it used to mean, but. Yeah, I had to learn when I was younger that sometimes well, just about all the time, it's just better to let things go and let God sort it out at the end of the day. It really is, because He's going to do it right at the end of the day. We can't put the right amount of touch on it or anything, because it's going to wind up burying both people. So it's just better to let God sort it out at the end of the day. So even
Just
though
put
I've
it
been
on.
guilty of that. Oh,
Just
go
put
ahead.
it on the wars guy to sort it out.
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, back in the day when I used to be a little bit of a hothead and stuff. I've been guilty of that. So if somebody wronged me, so but with time and age, I've gotten a lot better. Even though I'd like to think it, but it's just it's just better to let God sort it out at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, and I think you can almost, I was going to say simplify, and maybe it's oversimplifying these passages here, but what I read from this is, hey, you're God doesn't differentiate between good and evil, neither should you. Do what you can to be more like that. You know, be more like your Father, our heavenly Father. Here's what He would do. You know, give it a try, give it a shot. You know, so He knows we can never be exactly like Him, but we can try.
Well, man, Mike, I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah,
Your
that's
father's
awful.
nightmare.
Yeah, it's one thing to talk the talk, and another one to walk the walk, for sure, Mike. That's one of those things where they say the struggle is real, because it is.
Ashley makes a good point there.
Yeah.
And I said this last week. I ain't got the time or the energy to invest in hating somebody.
My wife always makes a funny comment. Or at least I think she always says, Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yep.
But I know who the clowns are.
I like that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth in that one, Hillbilly. A lot of truth. And yeah, Ashley, that was a good one.
I'm not going to love on me any coyotes, but when it comes to people, yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot of us, I guess everybody on the panel, guys, and there's been times for me, I don't know about any rest of you, but young boys, it didn't matter. Like we went to church together, whatever. And then even on in the high school or grade school and high school, middle school, and then maybe meeting somebody from a different school or town or something. There's sometimes that like you didn't get along with anybody and you might wrestle it out or whatever, but somebody that you just really didn't like. And a little bit of chance there between the two of you, most of the time we end up becoming really good friends, and it's just a misunderstanding that caused that in the beginning. And but yeah, what do they say on TV? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. That's a little different too, but it's hard, I think, to love your enemy. I didn't see where it never said it's going to be easy.
It does kind of freak them out a little bit.
Yes, it does, Buck.
Life's too damn short to be hating on people.
Yeah. And I'll say this again, man. When something that somebody says to you sometime or whatever, and it gets you all upset, if it's maybe a coworker or, even, somebody at the grocery store or whatever, if you let that dwell on your mind, you're just going to get madder and madder. And chances are that person probably ain't even thinking about it. They went on and they're living their life. And here you are just dwelling on it, Don't do that. It's hard not to, but just let it go because that person's probably not even thinking about you or what they said or what they did to you, and keeping that balled up inside is just gonna make things worse. And
Exactly right, Tactical Rabbit. That's why we've been taking it as he says you have to read the whole chapter to get the whole context. And I am a firm believer that you've got to study the scriptures in proper context. Or if you don't, you can take 2 or 3 words out of a verse and put it with another verse or whatever. You can justify doing anything you want to do if you're so inclined by manipulating God's word.
yes, sir. You sure can.
And one of the worst things you can do is say you're looking for a sign from God and flip your Bible open to any page and then put your finger down on there and then open your eyes and read it. That ain't the way God talks to you. All right, so I guess it's time for us to start clearing the deck for Mr. Gizzard Gary. What do y'all think?
Yeah, we're 10 minutes out. So
I did that one time, Jamie, when I was about, I don't know, a late teenager. And the verse that I pointed to when I opened my eyes said, God brings destruction on the earth or something. I'm like, okay, not again. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, that's kind of like almost rolling around the magic 8 ball. It's like that don't work. It don't work. It's not intended for that.
One guy, there's a story my preacher tells about a guy doing that, and he points to the verse where Judas Iscariot goes out and hangs himself. He said, and he went out and hanged himself. And he said, well, that can't be right. And so he did it again, flipped the Bible and pointed at another one, and then he pointed to the verse, said, go and do likewise. And he's like, this ain't working.
not today.
Yikes.
Yeah. If you've got to get the whole picture, as the
Yeah.
pastor tells us, it's got to be in context. So with that, we'll start going through the room. Who wants to go first? Mark?
I gotta undo my hillbilly. Sorry about that. Said I can certainly go first. It's been a wonderful evening. Been looking forward to this all week. Been a long one, a good full 5 days, and we've been ending up a marking period and getting ready for the end of the year, getting ready for spring break. So just been a real great time. Went really quick. Nice to be here. Great side chat. Great to hang out with everybody. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and maybe I can send it over to Pat.
Well, thank you, Mark. I just want to say thanks again for having me on tonight. And I know I've had a lot of complications, and I was still at work when I was trying to do this and everything. But life gets in the road, and you just try to figure it out the best you can. You're going along. So I've got a whole new keyboard and mouse down here in between. So go and check everybody's channel out. Great bunch of guys on here. The side chat was awesome. Didn't come through it as much as I should have tonight with all the problems I was having and as busy as I was. But thanks for everybody being out there in the side chat. And we'll kick it on up to Buck.
I just want to say thank you to the side chat and thanks for the invite, Jamie and everybody. I'm glad to be here. I always learn something new every time I get on here. So I'm glad I came in tonight. But hopefully I'm going to have me a couple of shooting videos if the rain holds out and my grass gets cut. But, I'm just glad that, I can make it. And I enjoy talking to all of y'all. All y'all got a lot of wisdom. So everybody check everybody's channel out. And I guess we'll pass it over to Walter.
Yeah, that guy in the middle. However you say that middle. Spanish word.
I can say it when ain't nobody around. I'll say
well, me too. Me too. Again, thanks for the invitation to be here. You guys know I look forward to Friday night, and there's always large measures of rewards that come my way from being here and soaking up all of this. And as always, it's good to interact with you folks over there in the side chat too. I've said this before, but it's something of a family we've got going on here, and it's appreciated, at least here. So thanks for participating, everybody. As far as what I got going on, I got that new press and put a video out with it today, and in the next 3 or 4 days there'll be some more videos with that new Lee turret press. Monday I've got the first of the shooting series part for that 45 ACP shootout thing that I started a couple weeks ago. So I've got some of that in the vault already and ready to put out in video. So that'll be coming up Monday. And Tuesday, my range officer Angela is coming by for her next lesson on how to reload, and so that's been kind of exciting. So we'll she won't let me do any video though, which I don't blame her. Too good looking. So yeah, going to be a good week that I'm looking at too. So thanks again for everybody being here. It was a good show tonight.
Thank you. Hillbilly,
Hey,
you go next. You got to get over there and help Gizzard Gary out.
Okay, buddy. Well, thanks for having me on here, guys. I really appreciate it. It is such a blessing to start Friday out like this with all you fine folks. I mean, I just enjoy it and look forward to it every Friday. The side chat's always awesome on this show. And anyway, what I got coming up, we got Guns, Beer, and Therapy coming up tomorrow night. It's at 9:30 Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. And so if you ain't done nothing, swing by and say howdy. We'll be glad to have you. Just got some videos coming out, hoping the wind dies down so we can get some more shots. So anyway, appreciate y'all very much. Thank you. And y'all have a great evening. I'm going to jump on over to foul territory. So
Thanks for being here, man.
y'all
Appreciate
take care.
See ya.
Good night, Hillbilly.
So, Scotsman, what are you working on, brother?
Good to be here, man. Appreciate being here, seeing everyone up there. We had a little bit more bullet talk as far as rifle goes. So I'm still learning rifle stuff. So I tend to listen more and talk on that one because I'm not talking about something I don't know. So I'll sit back and listen. So a little bit quieter on this one. Maybe next week we can talk a little bit more about cast bullets. There's, we've got Bama Dad out there having some issues and stuff. So maybe we can talk a little bit more about that. Bring some more of the cast bullet stuff out. Because bullets can go all kinds of ways. We can talk about bullets forever, for days and days and days. But always good to be here. Glad you were able to come in and make it. Good to see you, brother. And
Thank you.
see y'all either tomorrow night or Sunday night.
Very good. Thanks for joining us, man. I'm glad you felt up to it tonight. CW, you there? CW, are you there?
Last call. Last call.
Going once?
Did
All right.
anybody know what it was?
that last call only works for the Scotsman.
I can
Yeah.
tell you this. CW's going to have at least a video a day, and it's going to be either on a rifle or a pistol or a scope or a red dot, or it can be on anything from the range, all that. CW is, and we got to start watching his subscriber count because he is getting extremely close to 2,500. So that's a
Nice.
big milestone. So congrats to CW on the channel growth, and it's done by hard work. I was expecting Buck to say something about it, but me and him are contemplating a workshop on neck turning, and I'm hoping Bueller. I'm hoping that we can learn how to turn necks, rifle brass necks, and maybe CW will join us. Scotsman, would you like to join in on that if you're up to it?
Sure, absolutely.
What we'll do is we'll record it on here on StreamYard, and then hopefully we can upload it to all of our channels. So okay, I guess that's it. That's what I'm gonna be working on. I got 1,000,000 videos to make, and I don't have time. And I'm sorry, but a lot of stuff going on right now, and maybe I should do a video about that. But I don't want we don't want to do that. So thank all y'all for being here. We hope the Lord blesses y'all real good. And if he's willing, we'll see you next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.
Good night,
Good night,
y'all.
y'all.